So we are good to go now. So good evening, one and all. I am very excited to have you all here to hear from Dr. Seshadri Ramkumar, who I believe don't require any formal introduction. He's a well-renowned scientist, innovator, educationalist, and we are good to go now. So good evening, one and all. I am very excited to have you all here. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Between it was interrupted, but you are audible.
Okay, thank you. So once again, I welcome you all for this beautiful, going to be a talk by Dr. Ramkumar. I introduce Miss Professor Neen Lal, the professor at JD Institute of Design. She will be moderating the session along with Professor Vinod Shanbag, who is the immediate past president, chairman of NISTI. Over to Professor Neen now.
Professor Neena, you unmute yourself. Unmute.
Thank you, Dr. Lal. I have. Good evening, namaskar, and welcome to today's talk. I have to definitely introduce a little bit about NISTI before we move on. This presentation has been organized by North India section of Textile Institute, NISTI, and we have been doing it over a period of years. This is one of them, which I'm very sure is going to give us some more insight into another new area. A little bit about NISTI. North India section of Textile Institute was established in 1989 under the leadership of textile leaders, late Dr. N.M. Swani, then director of the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, also the former head of the Department of Textile Technology, and Dr. J.K. Nigam, then director of Sri Ram Institute of Industrial Research, Delhi. This was with the able support of Professor Kothari, Professor D.S. Verma of IIT Delhi, and others such as Mr. H.P. Gupta from Birla Group, Dr. K.C. Tapadar, CMD of Porrits and Spencers, India Asia Limited, Professor R.C.D. Kaushik, Director of TIT and Sciences, Bhiwani, Mr. H.C. Jain from DCM, Mr. Y.N. Malla from Porrits and Spencers, and Mr. H.C. Chaturvedi of Shamkin Limited. NISTI over the years has enjoyed a large membership of textile institutes members and has been facilitating knowledge enrichment and skill upgradation through training and development of manpower in the manufacturing industry as one of their main mandates. Today's talk is another of those, and let me introduce some little detail about that. Today's talk is by Dr. Seshadri Ramkumar on Technical Textiles, Quo Vadis. Now, Quo Vadis is a late Latin phrase meaning where are you going or whither goest thou? So obviously we are looking at where is this technical textiles moving on to. The webinar is going to be interactive mode once Dr. Ramkumar has finished his presentation. And I am proud to announce that this is to commemorate 75 years of India independence by NISTI registered. And the talk shall encompass general background on technical textiles, categorization specific to emerging markets like India, the missing links, and the way forward in technical textile. Dr. Ramkumar is a tenured full professor of advanced materials at Texas Tech University. Welcome, Dr. Ramkumar. May I invite Dr. R.A. Lal, Chairman NISTI registered, to further give introduction on Dr. Ramkumar. Dr. Lal, please.
Thank you, Madam Professor Nean. I welcome all the participants so far. They have joined. It is on the screen. I am able to see 93 participants are still there. Over 500 people have registered as informed to us by Dr. Yadav, who is our secretary, honorary secretary and treasurer. And I am able to see many faces known to me. Many are from our GCTI, my institute. Dr. R.K. Gupta is there. Our colleague from Textile Commissioner Office is Mr. Balraju, Sampath Balraju. Already we have spoken to him. And I welcome him in this forum of NISTI. There are so many other people whom I cannot name, but definitely Dr. Ramkumar, Seshadri Ramkumar, who is a well-known friend of mine. We know each other since long back. Dr. Ramkumar had completed his doctorate in 1998, and in 1999 he joined Texas Tech, and immediately after that we caught hold of him. In fact, in the year 2000, as Mr. Balraju also knows, the Ministry of Textiles declared that technical textile as a thrust area for Indian textile industry. And we were not knowing even alphabet, as Mr. Balraju has spoken just now. We in India were not knowing even alphabet of technical textiles. America and China were very much in forefront, and in some way Japan and UK were also doing, but India's presence was very low, and Indian government thought that we should also go in for the technical textiles. So we searched the Google, and in Google we found Dr. Ramkumar, the technical authority, and we caught hold him. We spoken to him, and as he is now, he immediately agreed. In fact, when he visited this time India, I was following him, but I was not having that much courage to speak you to give a lecture for us, because we have lost connection for the last about 15-20 years. Then I thank Mr. Shailesh Kaushik. He was after me that we should talk to Mr. Seshadri Rajkumar. And he roped in Mr. Dilip Gyanchandani also, who spoke to him. And thanks to him, he has readily agreed to give a talk on his loving area of technical textile for the participants of NISTI. So when we first called Dr. Ramkumar for creating an awareness in India, he immediately agreed. And he brought some technical textile organization over the world in the partnership. And I still remember India, Mr. Laurie Reynolds, the fight bulky man. I am always able to enjoy with him. So he hosted a technical conference around the country, and everywhere he was welcomed by the industry and institutes with open arms. So he was so loved and liked by all the people. And this went on for long years. And then India became well versed to technical textile. Now, of course, I can say well versed, but it came into the line with the other developed countries. Thereafter, he has been almost, if I am not wrong, Mr. Dr. Seshadri Ramkumar may correct me, he is visiting India almost every year in summer. And he is lecturing, teaching the people, holding seminars, visiting mills, and helping companies. In fact, now he has started working on development of cotton also. I am seeing his notes he is sending to me also, and has become member of our focus group. There also he shares his notes. And he is now very much concerned about increasing the productivity and yield of cotton. He is very active in teaching people and helping India's government bodies who recognize him as a technical authority, who recognize him as an authority in technical textiles. and he is there. He is an authority in technical textile, no doubt. With the learnings and teachings he has given to us, we headed forward, and then it came the acid test of Dr. Ramkumar's teaching and India's technical textile, that was COVID-19. When COVID-19 spread, the world was facing shortage of what we call that gown, we don't know.
PP kits.
PP kits, right, PP kits. India and the whole world was facing the shortage of PP kits. So our Prime Minister immediately took the note of it, and he directed the Ministry of Textiles, ITPP, Secretary Textiles Committee, and everyone roped in the Ministry of Textiles and find out how we can procure this PP kits from the foreign countries. So nobody was interested to supply. China immediately refused. And then one vendor got agreed, and he was able to supply only 20,000 kits. So Prime Minister said, you buy those 20,000 kits, and we will ourselves develop the strength of this PP kit manufacturing. And world will not believe, and world had to believe, that within one and a half months, we were able to produce 4.5 lakh kits per day. That was the strength, and we were not only able to meet our demand, and we were able to supply to outside countries also. That was the strength Dr. Ramkumar had given to us. In fact, Dr. Ramkumar, while propagating the technical textiles or making us learn technical textile, was not but thinking just that he was helping an industry to grow. But the tangible effects of his work have now gone beyond his anticipation, what he anticipated. What what I can say, he is the father of technical textiles in India. So with this, I won't come much in between the participants and Dr. Ramkumar. And I would invite Dr. Kumar to please benefit participants with his experience, his knowledge, and his caliber to all the participants, including us. Thank you. Dr. Ramkumar, please.
Namaste. Good evening. Padhram karne vishrunayama devaha padhram pasyemakshbir yajatraha sthirairangaistuštuvagam sastanobihi vyashema devahitam yadayuhu swastihi. So let us all join in union to hear good views, see good things, and more importantly, work towards swasti. That is what technical textile does. So how apt it is, the Vedic seers have envisioned this importance of coming in unison for the good of the humankind. Having said that, I have to express my profound gratitude to Dr. Lal, a man of such seniority, has shown humility is what plays well, that he took time to introduce me, and more importantly to his team, Dr. Yadav, and also to Mr. Shailash Kaushik, who introduced himself as son of one of the preeminent academics whom I know, Professor Kaushik. So many senior people, so many people who have given their life and career, and to my good friend Sampati Rao Balaraju, whom I met while we worked in tandem with Textile Commissioner Office and during the time of Dr. Jagdeep Narayan Singh, who was then TXC. So a lot of things, history is here. So I'm very thankful to all the participants, that too on a Sunday evening, taking time to come and listen to whatever I could say And I always believe in this, bodhayantah parasparam. So I'm not here to preach. I'm here only to interact so that we all can do something good. Having said that, what's technical textile? So I'll start with a video clip, then I will go. And Professor Slow said that I could take an hour, but I promise I'm not a boring speaker, I guess. That's what people say. I will try to entertain you along the way so that 60 minutes passes by, and then I'll stay as long as you want for interaction. So it's already 5:19, so I'll speak up to 6:19. I'll cut some slides, but I'll make sure the information is conveyed. So having said that, I'm going to begin. What is a technical textile? A simple distinction. So seeing is believing. So how a same material with different finish can serve different purpose, while serving different purpose can protect the environment, improve standard of living, and enhance human life. So that is the difference. So textile is there to protect the modesty. Textile is there to give some kind of fashion sense and aesthetics appeal to make a person confident. So that is a conventional textile. Whereas a technical textile is beyond this commodity fiber to fashion supply chain. It has to do three things. It is like a stool. A stool has 3 legs. You can ask why I'm not using a table. I'll use the table as analogy whenever I need. But let's take this analogy as a stool. A stool normally rests on 3 legs. Why, you can ask why it's not 4 legs. We don't need superfluous thing, unnecessary thing. 3 is sufficient to balance that stool. So likewise, technical textile has to do 3 things. People say technical textiles, functional. Those are all jargons. My interest here is to share something. Over 20 years, I have been to Egypt, to Australia, to America, to India, nook and crannies of India. This is what I have learned. So you have to convey something. If a journalist has to write and promote your work, you have to tell that in a public forum as you are talking to a middle schooler, 8th grade student. So then it is comprehensible. So that is what I am aiming here to do. But don't mistake me, it's all based on fact, because Honorable PM in Varanasi Speaks said one of the things he is promoting, rightly so, I'm thrilled to hear that he is promoting evidence-based, facts-based science. So that's what I'm going to, but I'm going to put that science across so that it carries some quick comprehension, quick understanding across the web way. So a technical textile has to do 3 things. One, first and foremost, it has to improve standard of living. Second thing is, it has to enhance human life. And the third thing is, it has to protect the environment. That's all these things. So the German came, Frankfurt, Messe Frankfurt, City of Frankfurt's exhibition arm of that came with some kind of confusing 12 categories. So, but those 12 categories of products will only do these things. One, it will improve the standard of living, geotextile, automotive textile, all these are improving the standard of living. Then it has to enhance human life, medtex, and then sport text, right? And then the third one is Oki text, that's environmental text, protect the environment. That's what it is. So let's take this video, then it will imbibe you into this presentation. Then I will do some mundane stats to see where we are and now we have to develop. So you can also have liberty to interject me if you want to. So let me play the video. This is what happens. On my left hand side, you see an absorbent cotton. ये तो फार्मेसी में मिलता है ना, वो कॉटन है, वो कपास, clean कपास, bleached cotton. On the other side, you see a raw cotton, which is clean cotton, but it is not having any processing. A clean cotton which is not processed is not of value to the commodity textile industry, whereas a bleached cotton is of value to a commodity textile industry. A bleached cotton has value in the technical textile, but even an unbleached, pure, clean cotton with no chemical treatment is of value to technical textile industry. So if you take a bleached cotton, instantaneously it sinks. The same cotton with different surface finish or different surface characteristics does different application. In terms of commodity conventional application, you need to bleach it with an environmentally not so friendly peroxide bleaching to make it absorb the dye, whereas the same cotton with no treatment In other words, it is totally sustainable, totally environmentally friendly. It will not sink in water, but it will separate oil and water. Like you see in the video, it will separate oil and water and it will stand. It keeps on absorbing the oil, but it will not sink. Thereby, it is taking a menace. It is taking an environmental pollutant from the spill. It sucks it, it absorbs it, but it is not sinking, so it's protecting the environment. So this is what technical textiles are. So I gave you a visualization here. So once you have seen the visualization, you should be now able to proceed with the presentation. Okay, now I'm going to the presentation, so bear with me. Okay, I guess you are able to see the slide now. Now I'll walk you through the slide. So get this in the mind that three things. Imagine as a stool. I have given an example. This is what technical textile is going to do. Where is this industry? Vadis. Where it has to go? What is that is serving as a barrier to the industry to go? Okay, these are the three things I'm going to do. The product itself is only going to do three things. But this presentation is also going to do three things. What is this? Where it is? Where it should go? Why is it not going? So a lot of people, there are a lot of big brains in India who have done enormous research in these advanced materials. So they can talk about particular research. That is not what I am going to do. My humble experience of 20 years around the world and so many interactions on one-on-one, mostly 2 months a year, has enabled me to crystallize some thoughts. Why is this industry not growing? What is the problem? It's growing, but it is not being seen. It's not being seen tangible, but for this COVID-19, that too only small segment of technical textiles. That's what we are going to do. And I'm also very thankful again to Dr. Lal, Shailesh Kaushik ji, and all others to call me and address this as part of the celebration of Amrit Utsav, Asadi ka Amrit Mahotsav mein ye Sambrama. In this Sambrama, I am asked to present this. So I'm really thrilled and I'm humbled and honored. Okay. So my lab predominantly works on this technology, needle loom technology. So this is the single lab. It's like as if it's like a manufacturing facility. It's not a COE. It is a single independent professor's lab like me in the United States. So this is the where I started. This is my laboratory. It's a huge lab with multiple testing labs, all controlled by me. So this is where I am. This is my base. And I work on nonwovens and advanced materials. And I am in the Department of Environmental Toxicology. It's quite an interdisciplinary mess. So I'm able to enjoy the wisdom and the friendship of people working in medical field, biomedical engineering, and so on and so forth. So this is where I am. So why we should do technical textiles? And Dr. Lal lightly pointed, since the time of Sri Satyam, who was then the textile secretary, I'm talking some 25 years back, Government of India, for its good fortune, realized that textile industry, being a breadwinner, has to diversify. That time we didn't have this much cotton volatility of 1,10,000 rupees a candy. We didn't have it. But even then, that was vision of people like Lal and others, and Balaraju and others, and Jay and Singh, and so many textile secretaries came and gone. So its providence has its own way that we need a diversification. And Germans were trying to promote this during their exhibition trades in Messe Frankfurt. That's how it started. And in fact, the word technical textiles is not known in the developed economies or even in China. They compartmentalize it as an advanced textile or industrial textiles or protective textiles. So Government of India created this as a collection, compendium of those products that are beyond fiber to fashion supply chain, and they called it as technical textiles. So dictionary got, like Dr. Lal said about Google, technical textile term started. I can say that comfortably that India played a part in starting this new Webster dictionary term. Okay, so diversification was needed, and nobody is in charity, right? So this sector should give value, should add value. So is there money in technical textiles? And then how to grow these technical textiles? How to make money? Of course, money is needed. Money creates jobs. Jobs are needed to sustain the economy and then improve the strength and wealth of a country. So everything was there. So this is basic policy makers preamble. So that was there. Okay. Now where are we? I'm going to put 3 slides, but don't worry. I'm going to walk you through 2 case phenomena, how we could do developments. Okay. So awareness phase was there from 2000. That was the time Vajpayee ji sent this trade mission. And I was lucky enough to host the textile member of the trade mission accompanying Swargiya Honorable Bharat Ratna Vajpayee ji. And they came, and that time the priority was only on cotton, and Lubbock, Texas is in West Texas, and two regions now control cotton. One is West Texas, another one is Gujarat. Okay, so why people are calling me? Because it was maybe my parents' blessing or God's goodwill that I was put to a university in a proper place, in a strategic strength and strategic place, that if anybody wants to do something in cotton, they have to know the terminology Lubbock and West Texas, because West Texas dictates cotton market in the world. Australia was not doing cotton then. So, okay. So then I started seeing interest not only on cotton, then what can we do with this cotton beyond making undergarments? So I started writing some columns and blurbs which would reach policymakers and general media about creating awareness on non-commodity textiles. I did not use the word technical textiles then. Then India government started promoting the word. So it was a good luck that with good intuition and good people like Dr. Lal and others sitting in the right place, like me sitting, I was thrown. I didn't make any intelligent decision to go there. I have to admit with all humility, life happens. Life throws its own curveballs. It happened. So after I finished my PhD, which was I used to go to MIT in Boston, and some luck had it that they gave me a permanent job right away in Lubbock, Texas. So I went there. That's all it is. So I was not an authority like Dr. Lal said. I'm a learner. So then I started first doing awareness, how to say that there is textile, because I have to sell to my own people, farmers who own 5,000 acres. All they know was cotton. That's all it is. The economy of Lubbock and West Texas is still run by only 3: cotton, animals, and then petroleum. Okay. So then that was my mission, and government also started during the awareness program. So I brought INDA to India, and INDA organized its first workshop in Textile Committee office in January of 2007 with 1,000 participants from around the world, and I was the tutor, and I was the co-chairman for the India Committee of INDA. So awareness started. Then from 2006 to 2008, when Dr. Lal and Balaraju and others were there, Sashi Singh and all those people were there under the leadership of Jayant Singh, we started going around the country, and first meeting took place in Surat in the Chamber of Gems Board in the presence of Dr. Jayant Singh. So that's how the awareness program started. So then government spent good deal of money. Then the second awareness program took place in Ahmedabad, and the third major, all done by Ministry of Textiles through Textile Committee Commissioner's Office. So 2 gentlemen are here. They played a part. I used to travel with them in Seshadri from Mumbai to Surat, and from that to Ahmedabad, and then to Coimbatore. So in that one trip for me, south, north, and even in Mumbai, we started the awareness. So awareness kicked. Then I myself had done 30-40 programs for India, for Government of India and others, and started pushing the terminology technical textiles and what technical textiles are. So that phase is over. Then initial growth started, and initial growth started where investments were minimum, particularly in 1.2 to 3.3, just polypropylene based spun bond. That's all, single beam spun bond. That came as a savior now, but that's not the way we should proceed now. So, okay, that was there. But then it came to a stagnation thanks to COVID-19. The momentum has kick-started and things can blossom like anything. But the market has to grow. If the government of India estimates have to be proven to be correct, that it has to reach about 40 billion domestic market with 12 billion in export market, totally about 52 to 53 US billion by 2025. That is the expected, or that is the wanting of government of India with regard to technical textile. 55 billion, why mantra like that you keep. Okay, so mass market has to grow. So that is what I'm going to do. Now, how we could build. So this is the simple, my talk is always simple, but I will give you some interesting way how to think, what I learned from others. That's all. I have been blessed to be part of many Vibrant Gujarat Summit organized by Honorable PM, and where people from Harvard and Sloan Kettering and others come. And all those interactions have been crystallized, and this is the presentation I do around the world. So now we know where we are. Our target is roughly around 55 billion. It is just a target. Okay, at least we have to have some goal. I have to live till 90. So I should not be hyperglycemic. That is the target. If we can do that, it's fine. So at least one goal post is there. One reach now, one pound now. So what should I do? Okay, so 4 things. See, I always give example. I told you I gave you a stool. Now I'm going to give you a table. Table has 4 legs. So likewise, how to grow an industry. Now we are talking about technical textile industry. Let's take this as technical textile industry. But this pyramid, the growth model pyramid I'm showing, equally works for anything. So first is sense. What is the sense? The sense is we need to know who we are and where we want to go. Kaun hai main and kya chahta hu. Okay, I'm a Tamilian, but thank God I know Hindi and Sanskrit, so I can manage. Okay, so sense, it has 4 yes. Like a table has 4 L, a growth model will have, for any industry, has to have 4 yes. Very simple. These are take home, right? So 1 yes is first we need to sense. Our sense is $55 billion. So where we are to reach that. Second is shaping. How do I shape myself? If I have to be away from glycemia, hyperglycemia, what should I do? I should obviously come to shape. I should not grow in length, in widthwise. If I can, let me go in lengthwise, but after some age like me, you can't grow lengthwise. You will only grow downwards. So we have to shape ourselves. This is the model US Department of Defense used after World War, and it works very well. So we have to shape ourselves if we have to come out of any disease. Likewise, the industry has to shape. We need to get a hold of the process and products. What kind of process I need to use, and through those process, what kind of products I can develop. Okay, TK. So sense, shape. Third one is shield. So what kind of a barrier, what kind of a boundary I should put? What is the limit for a domestic market? That is 40 billion. What is the limit for the export market? That is 19 billion, something of that sort. So if we have to do that boundary, you need to have the space to do it. So that is shield, and that space, knowing to reach that boundary, I need some kind of a space, some kind of an infrastructure, some kind of a structure, some kind of machine, some kind of human power, some kind of policy interventions, all those things. That is known as sustain. How simple it is. Look, 4 yes. Okay. Sense, shape, shield, sustain. So this pyramid will resonate in people's mind. Even you don't know, or I speak rubbish, I ramble, but at least these images, what I have shown, will be there for at least some time. So everybody can be an entrepreneur. Okay. Now, then what are then technical textiles? As I told you, they are not for fashion sense. You don't have to have a very fancy, sexy, high tenacity nylon per se. No. But a technical textile should do 3 things, which I have alluded to, beyond the fiber to fashion supply chain. In other words, they have to be catering to some technical requirements. In other words, functionality. Fashion aesthetics, smoothness, nicety, all those things are not needed. This can be achieved using a fiber. That's the example I showed you in the video. Just a clean, mechanically cleaned cotton plucked from a cotton plant, the bowl. And if you can clean yourself with hand without getting hurt by the thorn, well and good, you do it. But that caters to a functionality. Nobody worries whether it is gray or green or yellow. It doesn't matter. Any material, that is one thing. It need not be non-woven. That is the message I'm saying, because non-woven is investment specific. That's not the case. As long as you are able to achieve a functionality, that is very important. In those days, when we started promoting, that was one goal. We want to also create awareness from one segment of technical textile industry. So rightly, Government of India did that. But we don't have to limit ourselves only to non-woven. That is the reason I'm drumming here. Technical textiles can be made from fibers, woven, non-woven, composites, and permutations and combinations, so on and so forth. This is the problem. So at that time, all the world knew was only this, because Germans were leading the way. It's not that they are the only country that can do. India has done wonders, right? But they were the one who were front and center promoting their industry through VDMA and other things. Okay, so they came out with this 12 categorization. I have cognizantly put these 12 categories in one column, 6 in 1 and 6 in 2, to show that the one on the left-hand side to me, which will be on your right-hand side as opposed to you, Agri to Indo-Tech have one specific purpose. MedTech to Sport Tech have one specific purpose or priority. And the right-hand side from MedTech to Sport Tech is a small segment. MedTech to ProTech are kind of mandatory these days, where the volume is less, but the margin is more. But the only problem, then you may ask why those are not flourishing, because they are high IP-based sector. And that is one weak link. I'm not saying false. I am not here to preach. Weak link. So I'm very, very cautious in saying, because I have not come here to preach. I have only come here to share. So MedTech to ProTech, provided that we could enhance more technical skills at the R&D level, that industry may not fetch jobs for many, but it will fetch high margin products, high valued jobs. Whereas Agrotech to Indutech can also be grouped. It is in the middle, mushy middle. Agrotech to Home Tech are low margin, high volume products, somewhat domestic market may be hesitant, then the export market is cost sensitive. So this is the situation now. But this kind of classification is product based category. So I make a product, okay, I make a net, and that net has to find an application. It's like pushing. So then I push it through agriculture sector. So this, if you are pushing, a marketing guy, an undergrad in marketing will tell, push phenomena will not yield quick results. Whereas if the market itself pulls your product, then the market size and share will increase quickly. So Agrotech to Home Tech in Indian domestic market is relatively push. I have to push this product with some subsidy and convince the farmer to the hardest core possible and say, buy it. Then he will buy it, right? Whereas MedTech is a requirement. After COVID, every hospital is hesitant to use multi-wash green cotton drapes. Surgeons are hesitant to use. Previously, surgeons were wearing it only in places like intubation. In ICUs, they will not wear those green cotton standardized drapes. Now that's not the case. MedTech and mobile tech, life-saving. Now the Honorable Gadkari ji is also pushing to have the seatbelt requirement for even the passengers. So it's all these are pull. And with the sustainability goals to curb the temperature rise beyond 1.5 degree, countries have to do. If they have to have a seat on the table in discussion, they have to do. So these are all pull. And now that we cannot use 0.5 micron polyethylene bags, we have to use multiple bags, multi-use bags, so packed. So this system is itself pulling. So when I started this presentation some 15 years back, I did this column, not knowingly all these logics. But you know, you meet people, experience speaks. So it came, and then ProTech. It's very important. Every country, with what's going on in political crisis in many parts of the world, we don't want to name them. People are investing in protective technologies. Governments are not hesitant investing in infrastructure in protection. So this column is pull, this column is push. So where we want to go? Pull technology, the seller can demand his price, and more importantly, it is going to save lives. So these have been product based. Product based is good, but India needs something what is known as process based and sector based. Let's see this. So where is the growth? So I have given you the base. So one thing Madam Slow said, we need to first establish what technical textiles are. I have done that. Hopefully now when you go out of this webinar, you will get a good grasp what these technical textiles are, and everybody would turn out to be a consultant or an entrepreneur or a great researcher, and God bless. So technical textile in India is roughly 10 years as an established, I'm talking as an established organized sector. Whereas technical textile industry started in 1950 in United States per se with investment from US Navy. That's when melt blown technology, the inner layer in face mask, that melt blown technology came out as part of naval investment in 1950. Then ExxonMobil started pushing their polyolefin. Okay. Then in 1969 and 1970, INDA came into existence, Association of Non-Woven Fabric Industry. In those days, it was called disposable industry. That's why the disposable industry came, International Non-Woven Disposal Association. That's how INDA started, 1969. A year later or so, Europeans started their own organized sector known as IDANA, European Disposable and Non-Woven Association. So it's roughly 62 years. More than my age. Okay. And Germany has led this product-based categorization because they had the machines. Reifenhauser is still the gold standard in terms of making spun melt. I guess most of the people know textile terminology, so I'm using Reifenhauser. Those were all established names. Germans and Swiss were all still the readers in machinery. Okay. So they then started, they have built the machine. So what do you do with the machine? By that time, ExxonMobil refined its parameters for polyolefin, that is nothing but polypropylene. So raw material was across the Atlantic, machinery was on this side of the Atlantic. So they both joined hands and they were started pushing products. What can I make out of this spun bond? Right? What can I make out of this polyethylene filament? So Germans led that growth and they started pushing their own categorization of 12 products. We can't limit this technical textile just to 12 products. So if I have to be in technical textile, should I be confined only to 12 products? That was the problem in 2005. Dr. Lal would know many people. And then Ajay Pandit came. He used to ask me, Ram Saab, everybody is saying, you say this 12 product. What do I do with this machine? My machine cannot make this product. So that was the problem. And most of the developed nations, including Turkey, Malaysia, and elsewhere, they were only following this categorization and they were stuck. Okay, now what we should do? Then I started coming up with my own categorization where I was not worried about the product. It doesn't matter what product you are making, as long as your product is able to satisfy a market. That is very important. I need Karidna, somebody is going to buy, but I have to be a Bejna. So you have to sell something. So then I started pushing, and this worked well for developed economies, that instead of focusing on product categorization, I started focusing on market categorization. Where can I sell this product? Ye product mein kidhar bech sakta hu. That is simple. Whether it is a roadside chai wala or roadside tomatoes merchant, they know they have to sell to an Aam Aadmi, right? So, but what kind of a person? Whether he goes to a mall or whether he's going to buy from a roadside man, depends on what kind of a consumer he is targeting, whether he's targeting a high-end consumer or he's targeting a middleman like me. So, but that guy who is sitting on the road knows what kind of mem sahab he needs to attract, what kind of Sriman he needs to attract, right? So I started pushing what is called as market categorization. So it doesn't matter. You have a knitting machine. Previously, people thought that, okay, that means I have to get into technical textile, means I have to do non-wovens. No need. That was the one which created reluctancy in India early on. Okay, thanks to again government of Gujarat, Honorable PM was then CM, and Chandan Chatterjee was there in Index B and all that, and Pandian, who later became Lal and others would know, Chief Secretary, he was an industry minister, industry secretary there. So we all worked, and then government of Gujarat was pioneering, and Verma was in Ahmedabad. He is still now in Mumbai. So a lot of connections. So when you have this kind of connection, you can talk and you can tell, and each slide can be a consultancy slide. That's a different story. Okay. So then government of Gujarat started with its immediately, even before India put its mission, government of Gujarat, always pioneer in industrial thing. So they started their own policy intervention in a positive way to push the technical textile based on market. Okay. So among many bottlenecks, the knowledge and the need and how to develop end user based technical textile. Okay. Then people thought, okay, should I only do nonwovens? We clarified that, I'm not saying we clarified that nonwovens is not the only solution. You can use your own knitting machine as long as you are able to provide a product that can satisfy that particular customer. Okay, if you are going to sell to an IPCL, Indian Petrochemical Corporation, as an oil spill, it doesn't need to be a non-woven. All they care is, I want something that can instantaneously only remove the oil, and then the oil had to be reclaimed. Can you show me a product? Okay, but that was not the one what Messe Frankfurt technology would do. Then how do I create this product? That know-how, the technical know-how should be given. So this is very interesting. So I devised based on market. There are only 3 markets for technical textiles. One is consumer-based technical textile products. Then group bulk people have to buy these products, but the application is all the same. Improving in standard of living, enhancing human life, and protecting the environment. It is not changing. But I'm not saying that I have made a product you buy. I am going and saying that I have a product which will work for your market. Right? So market-based categorization. So if I have a knitting machine, if I have a braiding machine, if I have just a spinning mill, as long as I am able to know and identify a market, that is very important. That is what I myself did not teach in those days. As long as then the Gujarati merchants used to come, sir, where do I sell this? Please help me. That's how we devised this. So technical textiles, you know what it is. Don't worry about the fashion. Worry about the technicality. Then only 3 markets are there. Consumer-based technical textile, institutional technical textile, and government procurement product. How simple it is. So you are not worried about the product. You are not worried about the machinery. You are only worried about that particular market. So consumer-based technical textile products. So Aam Janta log. So what do? They are not worried. We are not talking about an undergarment, Jockey or Nike or Adidas or anything like that. We are only worrying about consumers' lifestyle improvement, consumer standard of living improvement, consumer societal environmental improvement. Then institutional products. Certain institutions have to buy them. Hospital systems have to buy wipes. Hospital systems have to buy these PPE. What kind of PPE is different? Their cost comes into play. Then automobile sector as a group, there are only 4 or 5 automobile companies. In the world, it is basically 3 or 4 major. I'm talking about conglomerate. So it's institutional buying. That's all it is. You don't have a mass market, right? So institutional buying, automotive textile, infrastructure textiles, or build tech, whatever it is. Infrastructure, hospital, these are bulk. And then where there is a requirement, budgetary allocation is there as long as you meet the standards which are stringent, predominantly aerospace sector, aerospace, aeronautical, defense. And certain governments, because of security issues and bilateral collaborations and bilateral regulation, they will have to procure certain amount of products. So that's how I started interacting with DRDE Gwalior. So there are only 3. Now it's very clear. So this is technical. If we understand this, I think there won't be dearth to product and there won't be any problem reaching that $50 billion industry. So globally, it is $200 billion industry, right? Then what is the thrust? So I given what technical textiles are, where they are, what is the problem, where we have to go, where we have to grow. Thrust will be there to grow the products that are close to end user. That is very important. We should not be worrying about developing a middle fabric. We should be worrying about a product for which the margin increases We have to worry only about the chocolate. We should not worry about the candy inside or the wrapper. A guy who makes the total candy, like Rocher chocolate, Ferrari chocolate, he makes the money. So that's where the margin is. Thrust should be there to grow the sector that produces the products that are close to end user. Where I am buying a diaper. I'm not buying a spun-born product. I'm not buying a sap. I'm not buying a lace. I'm not buying an elastic band. I am buying a diaper, that too in bulk. So I have to worry about developing a product, and the sector which developed that product is known as converting sector. In technical textile term, in parlance, it is known as converting sector. So the thrust should be given to converting sector, which did not happen, right? It's okay. At least now we have learned. And what India can do best, focus on, it is also called in a loose term confectionery sector, because it's like candy, candy. Final candy is all glittering in a box. That's what it is. That's what my son wants to buy. Your granddaughter wants to buy. Dr. Lal or grandson wants to buy. You take a packet of chocolate, not a single chocolate. Nobody would want a single chocolate. So that confectionery side of the technical textile is where there are opportunities for a lot of small and medium scale players. Why this is important? I'm going to give you an interesting example. Then you will know, aha, which I didn't know. Let's take North America, and all the data what I'm sharing is brand new, just released in April-May timeframe, and I'm using it with permission of INDA. Okay. Now, why is this important? Why I should worry about developing the sector, not just a roll good manufacturer or a fabric manufacturer or a chemical manufacturer, rather the full product manufacturer. I'm giving you an example. If you take a non-woven companies, product companies, there are only 210 companies in North America, which encompasses United States, Mexico, and Canada. Canada has a very small share. Okay, only 210 companies and only 900 machines are there. That's all. In terms of fabrics, non-woven fabrics. But if you look at the products company, thousands and thousands of them in Wisconsin, in California, in Ohio, whereas non-woven, these 900 lines and 200 companies are spread in major zones like South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. That's all. Whereas there are only 900 machines that can produce non-woven fabric at the fabric level, where the employment is there, but they are not huge. Whereas only in converting sector, particularly in Wisconsin, in Maine, in New Hampshire, in Boston, in California, it has ripple effect. So that is a classic example. As of today, I'm giving you brand information. Then there are so many ways you can make technical textiles, and I want to make you understand that technical textiles are not everything made out of non-wovens, but all non-wovens are technical textiles. It may be confusing, just buy it now. You can make technical textiles even without using non-woven. It doesn't matter. But non-wovens, as of now, they are not going into apparels and garments. They are only going into places beyond apparels and garments. So all non-wovens are technical textiles, and all non-wovens fit to these categories: consumer, institutional, and defense procurement. All non-wovens are technical textiles, but not all technical textiles are non-wovens. And technical textiles can be fibrous. It doesn't matter. It can be a yarn, the deep sea mooring, high density polyethylene, Dyneema, threads, which we have to import. Okay, those are all non-technical textiles. These have to have non-apparel application, and they cannot be paper. If it is a paper, the HS and code will reject it as a technical textile, right? I have given you example. Raw cotton with bark, without bark is a technical textile. Situations have to create technical textiles. Generally, technical textile products, margins are huge. Volume may be less, but opportunities are there for mom and pop shops. This is what brains in India have done well, particularly in Gujarat, in Mumbai, and all those places. Small shops, Jugadu, they can put things, mix and match things and do. Technical textile has the opportunity, whereas conventional textile does not have the opportunity until spinning or weaving per se. These are all dependent on heavy machines with huge investment cost. Then there's so many products. If you are taking a technical textile out of non-wovens, there are 262 product categories according to global HN standards that qualify to be technical textiles with one or two non-woven component. Non-woven say 262 technical textiles can be made. And technical textiles globally is about 200 billion, and the growth rate in the past 30 years has been around 4.5 to 5%. Somewhere it is 3%, but it is on a 30 years since 1990. If you look at the cumulative annual growth rate of technical textiles, non-wovens is much higher, but technical textiles, it is about 3 to 5%, roughly 4%, whereas the 30-year CAGR for GDP, global GDP is 3%. So this is one take-home mantra. Pharmaceutical industry, food industry, and within advanced materials, semiconductor and technical textiles, growth, cumulative annual growth is normally double that of GDP of that nation. This is what I predicted for the first time. Even before government commissioned its report, I came up with a report in 2008 that India's technical textile sector will grow. This is based on hypothetical prediction. If time permits, I will share that. It will be 13.3%. Today, government estimates it to be 15%. So that proof came true. It's vindicated in 2008. So technical textile globally has a growth rate of about 4%, and it is expected to be about twice that on average, twice that of the GDP of that particular nation. India is 7, so technically it should be 13.3. It didn't come overnight. It didn't come as a miracle. No, it didn't come in Swapna. So this is all based on some facts. So what are the key markets? The growth, particularly in Europe and United States, the growth is saturated. The 4 countries have very high growth. Of course, China, because of its population, and their lifestyle has improved, but by at least 10 times. 10 years. If you look at the bullet train in Shanghai, you could see it's even much faster than that of Japan. So lifestyle has improved. Then what did I say? Wherever the lifestyle has improved, technical textile have a role to play. So China. Then comes India, South Korea and Taiwan. But what is the thing that is lacking South Korea and Taiwan is the domestic market, domestic pull is less. What are the sectors? As I told you, let's not worry about agriculture. Agriculture is a misnomer there in terms of fitting. Medical health, come down. Medical and health, protective textile, infrastructure textiles, automotive textiles. These are the 4 major segments, markets where there is tremendous growth, particularly in India. And of course, agro textile is good, but that needs a lot of government support and interventions, right? There are 4 major countries to watch. Of course, there are 800-pound gorilla, European Union and United States. I'm not discarding them. Where the growth is there is particularly China, India, South Korea, Taiwan, and all the rest of the world, particularly Turkey, United Arab Emirates, and Singapore. They're where the size is also less. And Malaysia, Singapore has no domestic manufacturing. Malaysia has some spunbond manufacturing like Finetex and all, but they have not put effort like government of India, thanks to successive government and Modi's government, that the mission is continuing well and good. So this is happening. So these are the areas: automotive structure, infrastructure, but more importantly, I'm talking in priority, that should be medical and healthcare or absorbent hygiene. First priority. Second one is protective textile, but that needs a lot of research and IP investment and push. That with multinational contributions you can do. Then comes infrastructure, automotive, then agriculture. So these are the 5 sectors one has to do. So now I will show you one case in point. I'm going to now take process. Okay, I told you so many processes you can use to develop technical textile, and I'll take, for example, non-wovens. Non-wovens are all technical textiles, and I will show you how non-woven growth pattern in the world as of today, latest statistics, and then where India is and what are the products you can develop. That will take me to next 15 minutes, and then I will shut up, and then we will entertain a lot of interaction. So markets that recorded growth are always, baby diaper is low margin, highly competitive product. Multinationals, Unicharm, Huggies, Pampers Procter & Gamble, Huggies Kimberly-Clark, Mummy Poco, Unicharm. These 3 dominate because they have multiple lines spread around the world. But you need to have top quality lines with their specific standards to meet to that requirements. Okay, I'm not going to give the specific names here. Then other company will say, if Dr. Ram says the world listens in this field, thank God at least, because I am nothing. But still in this field, people listen, and now in cotton, people listen also. That's a different story. So diaper is mass volume, margin low, cutthroat competition, and competition from 3 to 4, one company from Brazil. So there are 3 to 5, let's say 3 to 5 heavyweight multinational. So where is the opportunity for SMEs? So that's why I'm being hesitant. Medical and PPE and wipes, opportunities are emerging. That too after the pandemic, thank God, that a lot of opportunities, not this low cost 2 rupee face mask. No. We have to think there are a lot of things, particularly in antibacterial, antiviral, breathable barrier. I'm also giving you free information. I'm not here to make money. I'm here only to learn and share. So antiviral, breathable, it should be breathable. So people have to have that. Sometimes, see, it's not non-woven. You need to have a laminate, and that laminate should be breathable. So go purchase breathable polyethylene film, bond it. But then how do you bond it? There should not be loopholes here and there. There should not be stitch holes. You should have ultrasonic bonding. So ultrasonic bonding, breathable PE film, laminate with NSMMS. That gives you antiviral, breathable. It should be breathable. So medical PPE kits, that's what Dr. Lal alluded to. People did it. And then automobile sector. And then agriculture is on that 5th priority, I would put. Where is the non-wovens growth? This is released in July 2022 of India. If you have to go and ask them, they will charge you arm and length. Okay, so it is 4.4. Global GDP, I said, is 2.3. Roughly, it is twice. So my hypothesis indicates. Now, what is the value of, so I told you, the value of technical textile is 200 billion. Out of that, 20 billion, 10 to 15% of the share of technical textile is the roll good non-woven. Non-woven roll good to 10% of the total technical textile. So that's what I said. Don't worry that you should invest in non-woven machine. No need, because its share is only 10 to 15%. So right now, at the fabric level, if you produce a non-woven fabric, and globally, if you put it, this may be pertaining to US, it's around $20 billion. That's all. There are 262 products that can, these are based on HS and code. That's all. As of now, in that HS and book category, there are 200, and that's a lot. 262 manufactured product have to have some form of non-woven. And what is the current value at United States, North America? It is about 5.53 million metric ton. In 1990, the total capacity of non-woven at the fabric level in United States was about 1.9 metric ton, roughly 2 metric ton. Today it is 6 million metric ton. And of which the domination as of today is dry light. And it has the maximum capacity, followed by spun light, followed by wet lights, followed by air light. So there are only 4 processes in non-woven. Dry light is 44% major share. That's where spun lace, needle punching, stitch bonding, and all these come, followed by spun light, which is melt blown and spun bond combination. That is 30%. Wet light is very minimal share, but huge investment. The wall covering, the tea bag, and all that is wet light, which is pulp based. When the investment in the machine is more, people look for cheap raw material, and pulp is the cheapest raw material available for material science sector. So 22% air light. When you have a short fiber, if a fiber length is less than an inch, less than an half an inch, as a thumb rule, you have to go by air light. So when the fiber length is less, the products are weaker. The products only will have limited application. So the capacity is also limited. So that is what it is. So dry light web forming has three process. If you make a web, non-woven web using dry method, there is only 3 process you can use to make a fabric. One is needle punching, thermal bonding, or chemical bonding, or resin bonding. So that constitutes 44%. And spun lace, so I told you dry light is 44. So needle punching is 22, thermal and resin bonding is 18. Then spun lace is 4. Spun lace or hydro entanglement. That's all. Then spun bond is 18. Melt blown, that's the problem. India has very less melt blown investment. That is an opportunity, but you have to go for quality machines, high productive, high width quality machines. Melt blown 4%. So non-wovens are predominantly single use, 5149. Okay. So then what are the different sectors in non-wovens based on product? Domination is absorbent hygiene. Sanitary pads comes first. Then comes diapers. There are two categories of diapers, adult and adult incontinence, and then baby diapers. Bear in mind the amount of non-woven in a diaper is very less. Basically, the cover stock, the top portion of a diaper, and then the acquisition layer, the layer that absorbs the fluid, not holds the fluid, that transfers the fluid from the body to the sap or the core, is known as acquisition layer. That's all. Only though product hai diaper mein non-woven. SMS ka 12 GSM to 17 GSM, so very less. And then, but which one drives? Sanitary pad? That's mandatory. So sanitary pads are mandatory. Then comes adult incontinence. Then comes baby diaper. Village people use or not use, you debate it. And then comes wipes. So why? That is one thing. Why India we are not pushing wipes? One, you may say culture. That's not the issue. We don't have those people who deliver package wipe. I'm not talking about a boy or a girl, delivery boy or a girl. The sector that can make the wipe from machines like Ginnies or machines like Wellspun. I'm not here to advertise any, so I'll leave it like that. So there is enough capacity to make the roll good, to make the fabric, to make a wipe. Then what is missing? How do you take a fabric and you convert to a wipe? Predominantly, these are wet wipes. So you need to have some chemistry connection to make the formulation. So that's not there. So that's what I said. These opportunities are there for SMEs in this, provided you bring all these combinations together. Whereas roll good fabric production is there, is enough. Okay. Then filters, the use of filters have emerged and there's a need is growing. Again, filter is not simply a needle punch fabric. Filter has some hardcore product in it. Filters have to have been packed. If you see a 3M filter, it will have some hardboard in it. It will have some wiring in it. It will have some grid in it. So these things can be put together. But only thing is we have not educated and we have not given awareness on how do I take a needle punch fabric and make it into a replaceable filter. In India, we only put a cardboard in the filter. If you take a carrier filter, there will be a tray like this. There will be a filter where they insert one urethane, PU. That is not good. So all we need to know is cut the needle punch fabric, simple polyester needle punch fabric. But only thing is you need to cut it and then seal the edge of it and then fit to the size of a carrier grid. You know, I'm talking about the carrier box AC. That's it. So that is what I'm crying out of my lung. We have to create the awareness of the confectionery or converting sector. So many in a small town like Trichy or in a big town like Gurgaon. So many people. It's like a tailor shop. We need to create technical textile tailor shop. That is known as conversion. So filters are not just fabric. Filters are that final product. Only tailor makes a suit, whereas others make the fabric. But where the value addition is there is at the tailor shop. That is now replaced by other malls and things like that. But I'm just telling you. Then comes wipes. Wipes culture issue is there. But there again, the thing barrier is not just the price of the raw material. It need not be only viscose. You can get the same type of product using with polyester and cotton. For Indian market, that is doable. Leftover cotton, it's no cotton left now, so don't question me like that. I'm just, only thing is the industry that can make that's what I told you when I started the presentation. I said that we need the converting sector. We are coming the other way. Okay, at least we started somewhere. Okay, wipes. Then medical, it's fine where standard requirements are very strict. Okay, so medical, then geotextiles need to be based on intervention and also the requirement, then transportation infrastructure. Only these have growth. Pull, predominantly pull, slight push, unlike other products. Okay, absorbent hygiene, filter, wipes, medical, geotextiles, transportation, infrastructure products. Now, where are the growths? Project needs to be analyzed based on facts, which I have given you. If you take North American statistics a glimpse, wipes is expected to go for next 5 years at 4.5%, whereas the GDP is only 2.3%, double. Filters are expected to grow at 4%. Medical PPE is expected to grow at 3% because this is institutional buying. You may question, it's only growing at 3%, but the margin for a medical PPE is 5 times, 6 times more than that of a margin of a mundane wipe, mundane filter. Geotextiles 2% growth, but with infrastructure investment in United States and Europe and Japan, the margins are huge. At any project, 10 to 12% cost gets added up if you put an infrastructure textile such as geotextiles or build tech, but the margins are higher. Will these apply to India? All may not apply to India. Wipes is a lagger in India. Geostructures lagger in India. What is the push? The push here, push and pull work in tandem with regard to medical, which we have seen in the COVID. So that momentum should be carried through. Then filters, domestic filters, industrial filters, institutional filter. Then comes wipes. Then comes wipes and geo products stay at the same level. Whereas in the West, it is wipe. Wipe is the front runner. And then in every case, geostructures is the last runner. So there is a little bit twitch here. Medical PPE come first, then come filter, then come wipe, then geotextiles. This is the rank in India. This is based on my numbers and my prediction. Medical PPE, so many products. It's not only just your surgical drapes and gowns. So many products in medical hospital systems you can look. Tissues, tissue growth. Those are all technical textile. They are not particularly non-wovens or woven. Some combination of non-wovens and nano and all those. And also in some cases, functional nano materials have to be added. That's how J&J and 3M flourish, okay? And GE also, GE Healthcare also flourish. So in India, it is medical PPE, then comes filter, then wipes and geotextiles, and then automobile and agro. These are the 5 products, okay? Where are growths? Investments in lines in India, grow the converting sector, particularly high-end medical and hygiene. I'm coming to end. Grow the converting sector, particularly high-end medical and hygiene. In terms of non-woven fabric, focus needs to be on high-quality machinery. That's what I'm coming. If you buy something from China and Taiwan, 1.3 and 3.2 spun bond, the single beam, no. Whereas since wipes and filters and medical products are also in demand in the West, they would need a 5-beam line at least. Not all can invest, but at the fabric level, the export potential is there for high quality, which will meet the standards of P&G. To get 12 GSM cover stock fabric, they have set some anti-risk. The wettability should be this much. The wicking factor should be like this. So only 5-beam machine using high-grade polyolefin, polypropylene, similar to the SART. If it is 5-beam international standard, it's only Reifenhausen. It's given. It's monopoly per se. That's all. So spun bond, melt blown, spun bond, or spun bond, melt blown, spun bond. Okay. International brands need to certify product, and investments in high quality processes and roll goods are needed. You can see this. Global Nonwovens had 1 line in Nashik. They are now having 2nd line, and then for the demand is not there fully for the 2nd line. So they are to deeds on export, particularly to Europe. So if you are trying to invest in roll good, risk is there, but you got to only focus on high quality with more investment that can satisfy the standards. So there again, I'm saying, go to the converting sector, which is possible and which is much closer to small and medium scale entrepreneurs. Right. So North Americans, that is the reason. So if you look at it, why I'm saying, okay, I have money. What do? I have diversified from many products, but I still, okay. Then look at the export market. You have to look in United States, spun bond machine lines and melt blown, SMS. I'm using spun melt, which is a combination of spun bond and melt blown. 2016, the capacity saturation was 79%. So they have to depend on somebody for low quality product. 2019, it increased 85% capacity utilization. 2020, 86% capacity utilization. 2021, 90% capacity utilization. So there is investment opportunity, but it is not for all. 1 or 2 lines, that's all maximum. So don't go and say that get money because I have to show PL production link. So my machine can churn out these roll goods 12 GSM. No. I'm giving you as a consultant, 2 to 3 lines maximum in the next 1 or 2 years. That's all. Quality raw material, fiber to roll goods from India at competitive price will win opportunities in European Union and USA. But we got to be also quality and price competitiveness. If you are even investing in 5-beam machine, your immediate competitors are Malaysia, Turkey, United Arab Emirates. They have money to invest in big roll good manufacturing, so they will compete. So you got to have risk factor is heavy. You got to be cognizant. Whereas risk factor is not that level. If you are developing medical, filtration, wipe, geostructures, automotive structures, and then agriculture end products. In other words, conversion products in those categories which can cater to domestic products with functionalization using good chemistry. You can even have export markets, right? I think I will share this slide, and I have predicted how the growth for India will be, and I will share this particular slide. This is very good slide. A lot of bankers have gotten familiar with this, and even Balaraju and Ajay Pandit all must know this report from me. India rising opportunities in non-wovens and technical textile. Now European Commission and US Trade Agency use this as their Bible, for lack of better term, or Gita, whatever. So they are using this is a growth chart, how this industry will grow. What would be per capita consumption? The per capita consumption in India in 2005, when we started, knowingly or unknowingly, ek aam aadmi consumed about 35 grams of technical textiles or non-wovens per se. Now that has gone up to half a kilo, whereas the world standard is 3,000 grams, whereas we are only 500 to 750 grams. So there is, then the world comes to a saturation in use based on per capita. If the consumption is 3,000 grams or 3 kilo, we are roughly about 1 kilo. Take it like that. So there is a growth is there. So there is an exponential growth at the end product level, provided you produce the end product, not simply fabric, not simply fiber. We are still needing para-aramid. We are still needing high tenacity nylon. We are still needing meta-aramid. No, we have to be, we are import sensitive on those. All we can do is how to convert. Very few people who can convert these soft armors and so. All these have been given here. Then I'll share so much. I have given a lot of examples. This is like a good book, specific projects, and I have given, but they only gave me a month. Doesn't matter. But then I'll go to take home mantra. All the products what you can develop. Where we are, I have given, and I may be willing to share this presentation. So now where we are, so my time is up, but I will finish with 2 important slides. Okay, what are the takeaway products? First, you need to think of creating product basket of technical textile products that can sell in a mall, can sell in a shop. But technical know-how is not there for that. How do I develop an engine filter? How do I develop an oil filter in a car? Nobody has taught. Maybe technical skill sector, Vijay Yadav is there. He needs to think about it. This is what I've been telling to Swapna Mishra. This knowledge has not been shared. So that's where the money is. That's where the opportunities are for SMEs. That's where job growth, which Honorable PM wants to do. So we need to create awareness on the product baskets, product available at the end user level. Then high margin products for which there is a defined market. Focus on high-end specialized products catering to defense, medical, automotive, and sportswear sectors. Then if it is commodity, it's fine. There is a need, but this is not priority. But there is a market. I'm not saying there is a market. Commodity, hygiene, and medical product, low margin, you have to fight your competition. Whether I'm selling at 5 rupees or through Jan Aushad, I want to give at $1.75. Are you willing to suck up the cost and produce a pad at 2 rupees? You make the costing. Then what do? 2 things. Increase the market size. You can do it either by increasing the volume, which is tough, whereas you can increase the margin if you are able to focus 1 or 2 products. Be focused. You can do it. I have known in my own trip recently, I have working with people who have started supplying 15 soft armor chests to Government of India. Right? Margin is just only 15 chest shields, ceramic, Kevlar Nomex pads. It's pity that I didn't have time to do it, all those things. So you can do margin. Whereas commodity products priority should be at the low. Then the other missing link is people are not talking about functional chemistries at all. A technical textile will have value only if there is some functional chemistry to the raw material. No program has been done, to my knowledge, specifically on this. Create more awareness on the scope of all sectors. So far, we have done enough on roll goods, enough on processes. End user, customer centric, customer oriented, confectionery industry awareness has to be created. Okay, industry institute participation is poor. This is only pejorative term I use, pardon me for that. That's poor. How many people even thought that I could take a knitting product and make a technical textile? You don't have to have a center for excellence in nonwovens to teach you that, but that interaction should be there. And of course, 15 crore has been now set on curriculum development, but that curriculum should not just stop with nonwoven. If in India people think it is technical textile, no. The curriculum should involve how do I take a fabric and make it functional. That is missing. So Yadav should make a note of it. Market, where do I go and sell a product? To a world market, what are the key opportunities for me? That should be there. Government intervention level is must, particularly in terms of automotive sector, in terms of geotextile sector, in terms of agri sector, and R&D support should continue. Then to end, identify near, mid and long-term products and projects. You can see me. This is not an escaping answer. If you listen to my presentation for 1 hour, I have cried out of my lung. And if you look at my presentation, I bet that you will even challenge me with ideas, because I have walked and thought like that market-oriented product. You don't have to invest in roll good. Non-woven alone is not technical textile. I have opened up 3 markets where functionalization or technical aspects are needed. As long as you are catering to that market and meeting the standards and providing at a cost-effective, competitive way, you will be a winner. Okay. Where do I get all these answers? I publish a column internationally that goes to 20,000 people. Of course, don't worry, it's free. Muft mein hi milta hai. So people ask, sir, do you charge? No, I just do it free. Okay. So we publish what is called textile snippets, and most of you would be there already. If not, send an email to me. You will be, it's just snippet, 2 paragraphs. It's not boring like pages. And now, well, if you go to an academic, sir, I am an academic too, but I'm a different breed of an academic. I'm like a chimera. Head is like Nrsimha Lad. Head is lion, body is something like this. So I'm like Ardhanarishwar. So I'm an academic as well as an industry person. I have evolved over the years. That works. That is the need of the hour. Have science, like Honorable PM says, but that science should be used to society. And he also said one more thing. Don't always think that you should take ideas from lab to the field. What a Medha Vilasa. He said, take information from field and infuse into the lab. Isn't it? That's what we do. So we are not just simply academic. So I don't write 5-10 pages. I do. I have the highest cited paper in electrospinning, 2000 citation. Anyway, that's a different story, because you have to believe that I am an international professor. That's why I said. But for industry-oriented people and things like that, 2 to 3 paragraphs maximum, that's all. This person has done that. This is maybe the problem, but this gives you an opportunity. So that newsletter is, there's no periodicity for it. Whenever I get information and time, because I'm doing it as a service, but roughly in a year, I publish some 50. And these are all available in my website also. And if you want to subscribe to it, do send an email to me, TechSnips. And again, I just ran over 8 minutes, but it has been a joy. And my profuse thanks to Mr. Shailesh Kausik, because Dr. Lal says he's afraid to talk to me. No. You should not. So Udara Charita Nam tu Vasudha Eva Kutumpakam. So we are here to share the idea. And again, I said, I'm not here to preach. I did not preach. So, bodhayanta parasparam tushyanti ramanti cha. Lord Krishna says, I'm here to share whatever I have gained, and whatever I am speaking, it is because of my parents and gurus and best wishes of people like Dr. Lal, who has given his entire life for the upliftment of the industry in the country, but he still found me worthy to call me on a Sunday evening, and that too as part of the Amrit 75th year Mahotsav. And I told you, I won't bore you. When we started, I counted, we had 113 participants. Only 10 have left, 103. That's more than 95%. That itself is a record. So, namaste.
Dr. Ramkumar.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Ramkumar, please don't go away. There are quite a few hands raised to ask you some questions. And if you would like to take a break for water or whatever, until then I can invite the
first go ahead
person.
And let them ask.
So may I invite Mr. Vilas Gharat to please put forward your question. You may unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but speak little bit louder.
Yeah. So Dr. Ramkumar, we have enlightened with your very good informative presentation and speech, and it's really true. I have noticed only 2 or 3 points. The first point is that you said that you have to do a market categorization other than the product category. Yeah, it's true, because there are many people having their plants in India, but they are not in a position to get the market. So my humble request to you, through any institute or any forum, help such people for the market categorization.
You can start with my my papers are all I publish in what is called as advanced textile source. That's one by like CT. Particularly for advanced textile, it is called advanced textile source. Aap usme Google kijiye, you will know something. But this is Yadav there, Vijay Yadav on the line. Maybe he left. The gentleman from Textile Skill Council. He is part of your office bearer, right, Dr. Lal?
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
sir.
no, he is there. He is there.
Yeah, this is what I've been telling to Swapna Misra. The
Swapna
same
is also there. Swapna Misra is
the
also
same
there,
presentation I do. This is what I do. So I can do everything in my presentation alone is 400 slides. What market, how to do. So you should force, as a public who supports Textile Skill Council, you should force them to arrange seminars, particularly on how to grow technical textile. And I've been talking to them for a month or two. So you have to ask them to coordinate, and I'll be willing to come and online. I'm going to US on Tuesday. But now the world is all web-based, and I'm willing to do, and that's a start.
Okay, thank you. I will coordinate with you also for this matter.
Thank you.
Second point, what you say is a tailor-made product, that is customized product. Because many people make a fabric, but the tailor is the person who makes it to the customer.
Yes, so that is known as converted industry. And there again, there have been, to my knowledge, in our early part with the government of India, we never did those things. How do you do that? I'll give you one example.
Yeah.
The packaging corridor. In fact, one of colleague of Swapna came to my 2 days. I organized an entrepreneurship program.
Okay.
Non-stop in Coimbatore, and one of her colleague came. And I gave these clues. Where do I go and find? You go to Wisconsin and put packaging cluster. That is what they do. So people sitting in their home garage, they buy the fabrics. Either they do by private label or themselves make it into a product, have a band, push it through. So that that conversion industry is not established. It's not organized. Awareness is not there. You go to COU, whether it is Citra or whether you go to Ichalkaranji, nobody teaches about them. So they all worry about their surveillance. That is fine. But that I even pushed when Joshi was the textile commissioner. I even pushed that he should at least allocate some money to create awareness on conversion sector, but it never happened. So those are the things that is lacking.
That is the main problem. because there are people who are making the product. But the converter,
Yes, sir. So the same guy can make the filter. He
Yeah.
can make it through a glass fiber felt or a polyester felt. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
As long as it meets the minimum particulate filtration efficiency, because glass fiber is still expensive, then you have to go through the regulation.
yes,
Whereas polyester can still be done, provided you have to adjust the weight of the web.
okay.
Who teaches you all that? Nobody here.
Yeah,
See this, but everybody is saying I am a COE. That's fine. So anyway, so that is the thing that is missing, and I've been telling to Misra and others, Swapna and others, and they have to take the lead and then work with me. I'm willing to work, and you don't need to be afraid of talking to me. If I have time, I do.
because we don't get the consistency from this converter.
Yes, that's what I said. Thickness. What thickness? What do I do? That standard is also not there. No, people think, okay, it's reverse engineering. I buy something from Taiwan, then they do go to Citra test what fiber it is. So, glass fiber. So I go search for glass fiber. You don't have to. That's not the criteria. The criteria is the end use requirement. The end use requirement for a filter is basically pressure drop and particulate filtration efficiency. It doesn't matter what fiber you make. Some may specify. Most of them only care about the functional requirement. So this itself is a simple take-home message. If you are developing a product, worry only about the functional requirement. Unless otherwise, the purchaser is more particular about what type of the raw material he or she wants you to do. That is very rare. Okay. Next question, sir.
So thank you very much. And I request Mr. Shailek Kaushik to organize all these things. And I'll be in touch with you on your email ID. Thank you once again.
Shubha, Mangalam Bhavatu. Okay, next.
Shailesh, please ask the next question.
Thank you. First of all, I'm very much thankful to Dr. Seshadri Ramkumar for his humbleness. He is, of course, an authority, and for his kind words for my father and for myself. I'm not worthy of that, but I'm very much thankful, Dr. Ramkumar, for sparing so much time and for a lucid presentation. I'll have two small queries. One is that what is the future of nanotechnology, nano coating over existing nonwovens? The other is that you talked about that government support. So in Canada, at one point of time, some people put up melt-blown industry, and government assured them that they will support them, but then the support was withdrawn. So that is one scenario one has to consider. Thank you.
Okay. Functionalization using nanochemistry is very viable. It unlike nanofibers. Then regulations are there, particularly REACH regulation, other things. So that can be sorted out. Nano coating is a viable functionalization value addition, no doubt about it. Yes, this is also I have told in my entrepreneurship, whether Vignesh conveyed it to Swapna. It's pity that government did not realize that there needs to be a single, at least, demonstration facility of a wet spun lace. Mantra has it, but it is not through MOT. One top of the line demonstration melt blown equipment that can also serve as an incubation. That is a need. And I'm really worried why government did not, after the COVID, think of diverting some priority issue monies to put at least half the line manufacturing line melt blown, which not only serves to the nation as a demonstration line and also serve as incubation. Imagine melt blown can lead to so many applications, but melt blowns are very expensive. Rifen Hilser or Hills Inc. After COVID, they are going to charge you arm and length. But incubation center, the way to start is incubation center on high-end nonwoven. So far, COE is there. And if you look at all the COEs, predominantly in PSG Tech, Into Tech, they have needle felt. IIT had needle felt, but I think that is defunct. They have thrown away. And then Ichal Karanji has needle punching and spun lace. But that's not where it is. We in country does not have even a single melt-blown web, standalone single melt-blown line. How would an entrepreneur know? How can, if you don't have a melt-blown web, your particulate filtration efficiency will reach a saturation of 85. Without melt blown, it won't even go to 92. And without electrostatically charging a melt blown, it won't reach 96, 97%. How do you get N95? I also came up with a category. N95 comes first with high filtration efficiency of 97% and above. That is because of electrostatically charged uniform melt blown webs. Then it should have necessary fit, that is tailor making. And the third one is comfort or form factor. So melt blown has become mandatory and must. And I'm sorry to say the country does not have, whereas in US, every professor's lab might have a small standalone melt blown. So that needs to be taken into task. And you said it the right way.
Thank you, sir. Some work has been done at IIT Mandi and IIT Delhi on coating nanofibers on the conventional nonwovens.
Yeah, but nanofibers are good. Limited is the viability is limited. 3M has on most of their filters they have, but still its mass production is a challenge. So when see, Mr. Shailesh, you have to go for low hanging fruit, right? Get a melt blown, and there are well, you asked the same question. They didn't give me time. This is exactly what I have said. You don't have to go for a nano, but you can go for sub-micron melt-blown webs. Melt-blown webs are normally 100 nanometer, 500 nanometer. Even if you reduce 500 nanometer to 150 nanometer, your filtration efficiency will go to 95. This is what it is. So from 2 micron to 500 nanometer or sub-micron, 1 micron and less, your filtration efficiency will increase. So you don't, and nanos are commercial challenge still, right? El Marco is gone. El Marco is the only thing. And the other one, the cotton candy thing, Fiber Rio is totally gone, right? And electrospinning productivity is still a challenge, right? And we are talking commercial. We are not talking about small production here. So there are certain things you have to go for low hanging fruits. And then the melt blown itself has evolved. Now you don't have to only worry about the spinneret that can produce 100,000 nanometer. There are webs, Hills and others, Reifenhauser, that can produce sub-micron webs, 500 nanometer. I have shown exactly. Providence has it. I told you, I believe in Providence. That I didn't know you will ask the same question. Yes, there are now commercial systems that can produce nano level. Well, in science, it is not nano, but for textile, it is still nano. That there are melt-blown machines, commercially viable, 5 meter, 3 meter viable, but people have not been even told in India that 500 nanometer, half a micron webs, uniform webs can be produced in commercial lines. Those are the low hanging fruits we should attack. Right. Yes, sir. Next.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, I've been speaking non-stop for nearly 90 minutes. So let's take a few more questions and we'll wrap it up.
Yes, sir. Just 2 more. Pratik Patni, you may please switch on your audio.
Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead, sir.
So very insightful and extremely eye-opening presentation, sir. Thank you so much. My question is, I have just graduated and I was wondering if there are any kind of workshop for the information that you provided. If do you carry out the workshop personally or by?
Yes, I carry one-on-one. Of course, American professors are by law legally. You know, I am a tenured professor, so I have a lifetime appointment. And American system believes in independency. We disclose and we serve as consultants as well. That can be done. And there are some nodal agencies in India, as I am told, though, who are charged to develop the skills. So you contact them, and if they found me worthy, then I'll be willing to work with them, which I have answered in the first question Mr. Garat has asked.
So how can I contact them, sir?
Textile Skill Council, and you can ask COEs also. So those should be available on MOT site.
And NIST would also, I think NIST can also help you. You can.
Yes, sure. You contact the office bearers of NIST and they would be able to. And this is what I'm telling. I'm here but I cannot say I can dedicate because I consult with many countries. But I normally don't say no, but the schedule may be prolonged. It may not be tomorrow. It may be a month's time. So I work, and it is very convenient. Indian times are convenient because it's a sleeping time for me. So I can even do it from my bedroom. So yeah, so contact those organizations and we will be willing to work with them.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Amit Gupta, please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for an amazing presentation. By far, like online medium, this is one of the most interesting presentation I have ever
Okay,
seen.
so at least I saved Nisty, so you won't throw stones on Nisty. Okay, okay, yeah, okay.
Sir, I actually just started teaching in NIFT, and one of my student raised one question, like something like about technical textiles. Till now, we are categorizing the textiles into two things. One is our regular textiles which we wear, and the second is the technical textiles which serve as a specific purpose. So, like one student asked, what do we call a textile which is having one specific property for something like you can say UV protected textile which we wear regularly?
It's protective textile, so that's what
Or,
I said.
but
It's
is
just
it
protective textile. That's all.
like something like can't we call it a hybrid textile and it will be having a huge market in
See,
future?
no, don't complicate. Vernaculars, you don't have to complicate. Yeah, things. See, this is 4P as a closing remark. I say you have to make your marketing pitch simple. So, how do I sell a product? So that is, in other words, selling a product. Nice term is marketing. That is what technical textile lacked. There are 4Ps. I always give 3s and 4s. That's all. Because we sit either on a stool or a table. So stool has 3 legs, table has 4. So make it simple. Don't complicate. First, how do you market? 1P is product, right? And the second one is you should have a product. It should not be fake, and it should serve some purpose. Simple. And then the product can do wonders. Like silver in an ionic form is broad spectrum antibacterial, but it's still expensive. Okay. So it should be at the price which a consumer will pay. So it is second P is price. Then you develop a product and you have worked out your costing and you are being total Deshabandhu. So you are going to give it little bit margin. So product is there, price is there, but you should have a market, people. Third one is people. First one is product. The same thing. You can't do an industry in vacuum. So you have to have some brick and mortar, something at least. A software industry should have a table and a desk and or a bed or a pajama, whatever you wear, and a laptop. So product, and that has to have a price to it, which is effective. वो बेचने वाला को भी वो काम में आना चाहिए और खरीदने वाला को भी, right? There should be compensation. Third one is people. There should be somebody who is willing to buy that, provided you give a product which he is in need at the price he is able to buy. So he comes third. Then all these may be there. You have to sell it in a proper way of pitching. Product, price, then people, and pitch. Hybrid. Aam aadmi ko hybrid, even educated people will not know hybrid. What is a hybrid? Hybrid car, they know. Hybrid cars are expensive. So if you go and tell, my technology is hybrid, first thing they think is it's going to be expensive. So do your marketing in a simple way. Americans are only good at that. You tell an American to sell a refrigerator to an Eskimo, he will do it. So product, price, people, and pitch. So don't complicate. Life is already complicated, and do it simple, right? So yes, Mr. Patni. And I think I have been up to your satisfaction. 90 minutes on the march. 90 minutes. I only teach 50 minutes, twice class. Right? Twice.
Professor Neelan, I think now we should wind up questions, because almost 22 hours, not 22, 2 hours he has been with us. 2 hours he has spoken, so he must be tired. Only thing, we may invite the comments from the participants. No questions. And one thing I would like to clarify, I was not afraid of talking to you. Only I was guilty because I have lost contact with you for around 15 years. So
It
that way I
happens, sir.
was
Life,
not
life to ICE life. So chalta hai, chalti rehti hai.
So now we can invite comments.
Yes, sir.
Professor
Go ahead.
Dr. Kuldeep Kumar Sharma is there. I think he may
Yes.
like to give.
Dr. Kuldeep Sharma, he wanted to be there.
Thank you, Professor. Very powerful and patriotic presentation of yours in the interest of the nation as well as the textile fraternity. You have wonderful presentations establishing your lung power for 90 minutes. I think you can go for 30 minutes more. You have the capacity. Well, at NIST, I would like to mention that we have done 2 projects in the past in Meditech, especially on hospital-acquired infection related to a non-woven product that is patient transfer device developed in collaboration with SIB California, AIMS, and another one is KMC treatment kit that is developed at AIMS and IIT together. So this we had taken up as a challenge at NIST, and with our resources, we have already commercialized it. Now we are on the lookout in these areas, 4 areas which we have already said. If we could see some kind of your collaboration or some kind of expertise being a renowned international textile professionals, I'm sure that Dr. Lal would have invited you on to grace our board as a pattern in this. If not, then I would request him and EC to invite you gracefully to be with us in working in this area. I know that you have been coming to South and interacting with them also, but North is also.
Yes, sir, I will do. As you know, I am a lifelong member of the Textile Institute, and I am also a fellow of the Textile Institute. And so
We know it. We know it.
That is why I take this opportunity and the pride to say that as a fellow textile professional from TI, you would consider this approach and give us some projects like you talk about the filtration and then packaging cluster. We would like to take up on our platform and for the benefit of the industry over here. That means you will work for the Honorable Prime Minister's dream of India to grow with the SME sector to $5 trillion economy.
Thank you.
I'm obliged, sir.
No, sir. Ramaiti iti Ramaha. Just Ram is fine.
Pankaj Bhasin, would you like to say something? R.K. Sharma?
Maybe they are all upright. Who knows?
I would not acknowledge before Dr. Yadav takes up a formal vote of thanks. I would like to acknowledge some of the people like R. Balaji, R.K. Sharma, Dr. M.S. Parmar of NITRA, Dr. Anupam Kumar, Dr. Kuldeep Kumar Sharma, Dr. Raj Antil Iqbal from Textile Commissioner Office, Madhuri Nigam, Neera Singh Parihar, Nandan Kumar. Nandan Kumar may have to say something. Dr. Ramkumar, Nandan Kumar is doing marvelous work in protective textiles using yarn. Dr. Nandan Kumar, are you there?
Lal Sahab, Mr. Kohli is there, Joint Textile Commissioner.
Acha, he has joined. He joined late perhaps.
He is there. He is there.
Mr. Kohli is there. Neera Singh Parihar, Nandan Kumar, Nitin Gupta, Rajendra Joshi, Sanjay Charak, Swadesh, Swapna Misra, Pankaj Bhasin, and K. Jaykumar. So, Mr. Dr. Nandan Kumar, are you there still? Nandan Kumar, let me find out. He's there.
Dr. Lal?
Yes.
May I take the liberty?
Yes, yes.
There's Sanjay Charath. Mr. Sanjay Charath has a question and he would really like to place it forward if it may be allowed.
Yes, yes. Let him.
Can I, sir?
Yes, yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. I'm going to read it out. Thanks a lot for your detailed presentation, Dr. Ramkumar. Can you kindly put through light on the use of Indian wool in technical textiles?
Of course.
So that the people involved in sheep rearing can fetch good prices and carry forward the old aged business presently it is sinking because of the fact that the youth is reluctant to enter into this business.
Same thing. You take an example of Polar Tech, high altitude clothing. You know, Australian wool industry has gone to doldrums now. That merino is gone. So Indian wool comes in between these cores, New Zealand and things. So that's what. But then how do you make wool? Is already an expensive raw material. How do you make it? Double needle punch, single needle punch gives loftiness. Double needle punch it, then it becomes a liner material, right? Yeah, first and foremost, attack high-end margin products, high altitude clothing, Indian wool, double needle punch, machinery infrastructure is relatively less. Then one side hydrophilic, one side hydrophobic. Do these nano coating. There are companies in India, Resil and then the another one, they do have this. It's called it's basically similar to perm selective. Yes, it's perm selectiveness. Add that functionalization to it. You get an high altitude clothing with functional selectivity, chemistry it, that's it. Yes. But then if you want to do what Jayashree Textile takes, I want to only spin a yarn out of it, then it won't fly because you are adding a cost. So raw material itself is priced. Add functionality, cut down the cost of manufacturing, then offer it at a marginal tender, you get it. This is what I'm telling. I put them all in many of my presentation. It's all there in many of my articles. If on an average in a year, I write about 50 articles. These get published in Advanced Textile Source, Specialty Fabrics Review, my column, and peer-reviewed journal. Just Google, like Dr. Lal said, they Googled me. You Google, you will find. Yes, this is what I said. How it's creativity. That's all it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ramkumar. Mr. Sanjay, I hope you found it useful. Thank you.
Mr. Bipin Kohli, Joint Textile Commissioner, would you like to say something, comment something?
It is observed somewhere that many old data have been given regarding the technical textiles and nonwovens, especially in America, 2012 to 2018. But no recent data has been given for the number of lines they have at present and the scope accordingly from 22 to onwards for the next 5 years.
I have presented, sir. I have given here latest numbers, which of course may not be 100% because it's all on self-disclosure. There are 900 lines, production lines running in North American market, which is predominantly 90%, 85% or so in United States, Mexico and Canada. 900 lines, 210 companies, that's all. Total, whether it is air light or wet light, everything. Dry light and wet light with the 5 process, only 900 lines. I have given you that.
No new line has been come after 2000.
No, new lines have come. New lines have come and all this information I have, so I can share one-on-one. Yes, but this is the first presentation in India. At least you should know. It's not like a textile Tirupur garment factory or something. There is no, only 900 official lines, disclosed lines in North American continent related to roll good production of nonwovens. This is the first forum in India. People would know that you can even get count, and I just gave it.
Okay. What is the status in India?
That you only know. Well, then they can't even get the status on the correct bales. It's your call.
Right.
Kohli ji, he is very sharp. He is keeping an eye on the Indian. He is everywhere. He is coming and he is in connect with India. So don't ask anything
Right.
from him.
Thank you. No issues. Okay.
Yes, sir. But at least you can take it. This is official that there are only 900 lines, full-scale production lines, non-wovens. It can be stitch bonding, it can be needle punching, it can be airlight. There's only declared 900 lines and only 210 companies, and new lines have been added. And the production capacity is totally sold, particularly for spun melt, it is sold. And if you spun melt, it is totally sold. But for the past 5 years, I have given you the capacity utilization is about 79% to 86%. These are the numbers. I am very pleased to also report Professor Venkatachalam is there. Nobody had given this to India at all. So I'm used this NIST forum to show that these are some very sensitive numbers I have put, of course, with full declaration that with the help of INDA.
Anybody else? Dr. Surendra Kumar or anybody else has some
Yes,
comments?
Dalmia asked
No
for
question.
particularly for technical textile in terms of cotton, it is the absorbency and microner matters. Of course, for any cotton, any processing, it is the length and the strength. And the third important property, if you had listened to my presentation in Coimbatore, it's fiber elongation, fiber length, fiber strength, fiber elongation. And then for technical textiles, it is predominantly absorbency. Absorbency is controlled by maturity, which is given in HVI standards by Microner. Okay, I answered this question.
I ask one question, Lal sir.
Yes, Pujiye.
Sir, in earlier days, wool felts were being used as geotextiles.
Pardon me?
Wool felts, woolen felts.
Yes, so see, why are you going it in this? Yes, but then
what is the status this time?
Yes, sir, wool is expensive. And you are telling a project man to put 10% cost and then cost of the raw material is, and how his tender will fly. Wool and all go for where the life saving and those are there, defense and all those things you go. For geotextiles and all, automotive and geotextile is like a marriage. You give them the low cost, they will work with you. Even though you say the roads are going to last for 100 years, if the project cost is more than 10%, there's no money. Public sector will not buy in. So for all those, it's only low cost. At the same time, it has to meet some standard. So it's basically coarse polyester. So coarse polyester, 16 denier, 20 denier is cheaper. So you use the cheaper material because you are adding to the cost. A contractor has to first convince, although the requirement from BWD or National Highway Authority of India is there, right? It's not codified as a law that you have to use. It's just a regulation, but then comes at what cost? So don't go there because wool is an expensive product, but wool has its place. Wool has its place to provide the necessary warmth and comfort, which will sell in the defense sector, aerospace sector, tackle that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
That's what I say. This is the problem. I have a product, you buy it. Don't push. Go where there is a pull. The pull is there in high-end product where life, health is priority. Because the same wool properties, you can get it from mod acrylic. Mod acrylic is cheaper. Of course, acrylic capacity is not there, but its imported one is still cheaper.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So that is the thing we need to, that is what I've been telling Swapna also. This kind of awareness, okay, the low hanging fruit. Of course, then if I'm a whole sheep breeder, what do? Yes, you have used the technology. That is what Western and Australians are very good. They connect all the stakeholders. Here, everybody cares for themselves. A ginner cares for himself. Then a ginner doesn't talk to a spinner. Then spinner says, I'm going to work with the farmer to increase the productivity. First, work with increasing the outturn in a gin, sir. That is enough. If right now the gin outturn is 34%, even if you increase it by 6%, 40%, your bale capacity increases. Then go down the land where you are saying, I'm going to breed a new line. That's well and good. Look for mid to short term return on investment. That is sound business. Na? Okay.
Dr. Ramkumar, though you are very much tired, I have one question from you, because you have been throughout your life in creating.
I'm not that old, even though I have lost this.
No, throughout your life, I say.
Okay, sir. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I didn't say you are very senior.
No, I'm just bringing light sense here because people are tired.
Now, I said throughout your life, you have been engaged. You are doing marvelous work in creating awareness. You would have also observed it. And in throughout my career, I also observed, and Mr. Balraju is here, Mr. Kohli is here. We all face problem that there is very low response from the people when coming to take the things which are being given to them through awareness programs. I mean, attendance in such awareness program is very low, and afterwards they say they don't know anything. The government has not been able to create proper awareness. Like in government schemes, many schemes we were creating awareness to even to the grassroots level, but they were saying we are not knowing. So how to tackle this problem? Is there same problem in America or other places?
No, because first and foremost, they think that I have a stake in it, so they come. A farmer says that I have to sell my cotton, so I have to do whatever in my power, so knowledge, and that too, if it's arranged free, they come. But then the problem is, if I had thrown you a graph, if this question came, what should be fiber length? So I just gave the way how you convey the information in a way people will grasp it. But the bottom line is, how am I going to use this information for my business? So even if it is prayojanam na uddishya mandhopi na pravishyati. There is a saying. So if there is no purpose, even a fool, for lack of better term, mandhopi na pravishyati. So that is Shastra. So how you convey it, but if you look at it, I have been to MIT and Harvard and Princeton, but this is not the crowd to show my prowess. This is the way, this is the crowd, or this is the audience where they want some realistic things out of it. If you look at my presentation, this is not where I put thermodynamic graph and things or macromolecular structure or macro, no. Convey it for the purpose for it has to accomplish. Many of the things, sorry to say, they may be from ivory tower, they don't do it. If you bring a consultant, he wants to push his agenda to get the next project. You bring a professor from IIT or somewhere, he wants to show his lab is doing that. That should not be the case. Convey to the audience for the purpose you are to. The purpose here is to bring technical textile to a level of understanding. That is what, so it is a two-way street. The listeners have to show interest. At the same time, the presenter should put in efforts to gauge the audience and then convey the message so that the purpose is achieved. That is what is the missing link. Hopefully, I have tackled it to my best of the knowledge.
Sir, this is really almost the fag end. However, I just saw a question. So I don't know whether you'd like to take that.
How much questions are there? It didn't show me.
I think they are just flowing in. As you are speaking, some more questions are formed because of that. So if it's okay with you, otherwise.
But it didn't show up in my chat.
It's in the chat.
I answered the cotton fiber. What else left?
Yes, the cotton fiber.
I answered it.
All right. Then that's fine. That's the last one.
And so, Professor Nean, you may now invite.
I'd like to invite Dr. Yadav to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Professor Neen, and I am really short of words for Dr. Ramkumar. Thank you very much, sir, for such a fascinating talk. And in fact, the talking points which you had laid down at the end are very crucial for us to take it up. And definitely, sir, we will go ahead with building the industrial and the academia on linkage on the industrial technical textiles. And obviously, as you said, that India has a very great future. I totally agree with that. And that is the reason that we are closely working with the Ministry of Textiles in building up the curriculums for the technical textiles. And also looking at the various means in which the industries can be promoted. And the very beautiful point which you had laid out is the technical textiles is not about having the high-tech machines, but it is more about the innovations. So I believe the Indians have been very prompt in getting into innovative works. And thank you for your kind words, Professor Dr. Ramkumar. I thank all the audience which have gathered today, especially on Sunday. And we could see very huge participation of around 120 at one moment of time. And that is very, I think, favorable response. I thank the organizers of NISTI the chairman, the committee, Mr. Shailesh Kaushik, for taking it up, for taking this talk with you, initiative with you. And definitely nothing could have been better than this particular talk to celebrate our Amrit Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So we have two series of programs, sir, and we begin that initiative with your talk. And the next in the series is going to happen on 13th of August on the sustainability in the textile industry. So I invite all the participants to kindly join us on 13th as well as 3:30 p.m. So with these kind words, I thank you, Dr. Ramkumar, and all the participants. Thank you so much.
Mangalam Bhavatu.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ramkumar. I will be in touch with you now and will not
Thank
be
you,
afraid to talk to you later on.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Also, thanks to Dr. Lal for bringing us
अब
here.
दिखा, अभी तो चेहरा दिखा दो भाई.
Actually, I thought of seeing. I'm really surprised to see Dr. Ramkumar when we saw him with a so beautiful hairstyle.
Yes.
And he was so handsome those days.
I'm still handsome. I lost weight. You want to see? I can stand there.
But you are so beautiful. You are so handsome those days. I cannot forget
Navo
those days.
navo bhavati jayamano na. It's the way the life goes, huh?
His photo in the poster, in artwork, his photo is same.
Yes, that's what I saw on the banner.
Speaking. That is marketing. That is marketing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, doctor.
Let me go.
Only
Okay?
today
Shubham. Mangalam Bhavatu.
Today is also handsome.
Today also, really.
Yes, today is also handsome. Now,
Yes,
Dr. Rajkumar is as young as.
Yeah, I lost lot of weight.
अभी भी मैं जवान हूँ.
Mr. Pankaj Bhasin, you introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dr. Ramkumar, I am thankful to you. Sir, actually, my speaker is not working at present. I am thankful to you.
You
Hello?
introduce yourself.
Yes, speak, sir.
Sir, I am Pankaj Bhasin. I am president of the Uttar Pradesh Powerloom Federation.
जी.
चलिए, आपका मैं बहुत आभारी हूँ डॉक्टर राजकुमार जी. आपने बहुत हम लोगों को सहयोग और बहुत जानकारी दी.
एक example, power loop can form the basic material for ceramic and abrasive and even bulletproof liner material, provided you increase the weight to 400 GSM. You can do it. So there's so many things.
Yes, 400 GSM.
Yeah, you can do it. Anyway, those are all specific questions. I got to go. It's more than 2.5 hours for me. So, okay, Shubham Bhavatu. Let's flourish well and let this year bring much success.